Sitting here with Elliott Stark of Fish Travel Eat, who has become my encyclopedia of offshore fishing. And it's kind of confusing to me because he's from Central Texas originally. How does a guy from Central Texas end up in the billfish world?
Oh man, it was a long drawn out deal that kind of started. I like to fish. I grew up fishing anywhere I could sort of go. And my grandparents lived on the Gulf, and I'd go there and surf fish, every summer as long as I could. And then I went to school at the University of Miami to study marine science, and I was fortunate from there to kind of, catch a couple of swordfish and sailfish here and there. And the first people that hired me out of grad school was a place called the Billfish Foundation, and they do conservation work for marlin and sailfish, and they're an international organization that does really good work. And I was about as fortunate as you could be to get on with some good people that sent me all over the place to catch fish and help, the population.
Where did you go from there? What other opportunities have you had to work in the fishing industry?
Well, with the Billfish Foundation, I got to go to all over Central America. I fished in Brazil. I got to go to Australia, went to the Canary Islands, sort of all over the world, all over the Caribbean. And I was about as fortunate as could be. And over the course of some of the travel, I got to meet these guys in Panama that had a mothership-based sport fishing operation. And one thing led to another, and my wife and I sold all our stuff and sold our trucks and put our stuff in storage and moved to Panama and lived on a boat for a year. And, we caught a bunch of black marlin and some, yellowfin tuna and rooster fish and all kind of things. And we had people come from all over the world to fish with us, and it was a great deal. And after that, I came back to the States, had a couple kids, and started a consulting company.
That's cool. So what's still left on your list of things to do in the fishing world? Places you want to go or species you want to catch?
Well, I've been, real lucky. Like I said, I fished on 4 continents. I have one billfish left for the Royal Slam, which is sort of the 9 species in the world. So I'd like to catch a spearfish, and best place to do that is in Hawaii in May or June. So one of these years I'll go do that. But rather than chasing species, at this point it's just kind of about experiences, because I really enjoy fishing quite a bit, and like to go catch the same things over and over and over again, and try new things along the way too. That's one of the great things about fishing, and the places it takes you, and the people you meet, and the food that you have, and the things you learn that it sort of fast tracks friendships, and teaches you all kind of perspective that have nothing to do with fishing. But fishing for me has been a great lens through which to see the world, an excuse to stand for passport.
If you had to choose one place or one fish for the rest of your life, where would it be and what would it be?
Well, I awfully like Panama quite a bit. I mean, we're sitting here in Isla Perita, which is up in the Coiba region of Panama in the Gulf of Cherokee. And it's a wonderful place. And we were fortunate enough to bring the mothership up here a couple times. And it's a great place to catch big black marlin and big yellowfin tuna. I mean, big roosterfish and cubera snapper, all within a reasonably, close, proximity to one another. And it's got great action, big size, and it's a remote environment, that's kind of a little bit difficult to get to. But once you're here, it's like a wonderland. It's like Disneyland for fishermen.
Is this something you would recommend to guys who are freshwater fishermen who maybe want to branch out into saltwater as a first-time thing?
Oh yes, for sure. I mean, for me, like I say, I grew up in Buda, Texas, and at the time there was about a tenth as many people in Buda as there are now, But I grew up fishing for white bass and catfish and crappie and whatever I could catch. And the saltwater thing is really open. It really opens your eyes. It's incredible to see giant fish that can sort of, move faster than you thought an animal might be able to, sort of throw themselves all the way out of the water, and puts a new perspective on fishing and what it means, what a big fish is, and like what it can do. And so I think that sort of everybody should try it. It's expensive, you have to travel, there's some things, but once you get sort of comfortable with the idea, and if you like catching bass, there's a good chance that you'll like catching marlin. There's a good chance, and even if you don't catch marlin, there's a great chance that, catching an amberjack, or, even a red snapper, or going fishing on a party boat, somewhere. That's how I started, actually, when I was a kid, in Port Aransas. You pay 80 or 100 bucks and you go out and drop bait on the bottom, and, who knows what you'll catch. And it sort of expands your mind, and one thing leads to another, and next thing you know, you're sitting down here with Pete Robbins of Panama talking about fishing.
If guys wanted to go and catch their first billfish, and it was maybe a once-in-a-lifetime thing, I know there's no guarantees in fishing.
Sure.
Where would you recommend that they go?
Well, Guatemala is a great place for sailfish. There's big numbers. It's consistent. You know, you can sort of, you know, like any fishing, it's hard to say that you can plan to catch a fish. But, you know, with billfish, that's a rarity. But, you know, there's days where they'll average, you know, there's times when they'll average 15 sailfish a day in Guatemala. And you have a good chance of catching blue marlin as well. And putting your time to see some tuna and some dorado and, you know, great things to eat, you know? So,
what about people who are afraid to leave the U.S. and want to stay domestic? Is there a saltwater destination
sure.
you can think of that you recommend over others?
Yes, for sure. Well, you know, South Florida is good because the fishing's easy and it's close to shore. You know, you can catch, you know, big, like tarpon real close to, you know, right off the beach. Yeah, you can catch sailfish during the, you know, wintertime, lots and lots of them, you know, pretty consistently. And it's a good, well-rounded deal. Go to the Keys, you know, go, you know, check it out. But, you know, leaving the country, that's a good point. You know, there's a lot less, it's a lot easier these days than it was previously. I mean, there's a lot more resources. I mean, there's websites like Pete and Hannah, you know, providing their experiences and where they've gone. You know, you can check out, I mean, I started Fish Travel Eat for the, you know, reason to explain, you know, all the benefits of and perspectives of the fishing experience and the food and the culture and how you see things and sort of how it all comes together. There's plenty of magazines and like lots and lots of people are doing it every day. So the days of, I mean, there's places in the world that you can go that you can find yourself in trouble, but generally speaking, if you find a reputable operation, fly there, they'll take care of everything, pick you up, drop you off, make sure you have a good time. I mean, they're not in the business of having their guests get hurt. So, you know, the stigma and the sort of, you know, oh no, I don't want to go, you know, somewhere else, you know, these days, give it a shot. You'll probably like it. Next thing you know, you'll be doing it more often.
That's the biggest problem I have is I haven't found a type of fishing I don't like yet, and I'm becoming addicted. This tuna deal in Panama has been absolutely insane. Thank you, Elliott, for setting up this trip. I look forward to many more trips with you in the future.
Let's do it, buddy. Thank you.
Check out Fish Travel Eat. Elliott Stark, my man in the offshore game, knows everything about it, and what he does, what little he might not know, he's willing to learn and he's looking to teach.